G'day, I'm Ian Finch and welcome to my backyard, the great Kiwi outdoors. Today we're staying local in the Canterbury area to help out with a little bit of conservation, try a spot at fishing and give a ram some anger management classes. Looks pretty good, so let's get going on a Kiwi adventure.
I've been around this long green land, seen a thing or two. From the Milford track and up the Wymack, wanna share it all with you. It's a Kiwi adventure, pack up your bags, let's go. It's a Kiwi adventure. It's a Kiwi adventure, time to hit the road.
Canterbury, a place in the middle of the southern part of New Zealand, which is also in the southern hemisphere. There's rivers, birds, wild dogs, towns, and sheep. Lots of sheep. New Zealand is known for its sheep. Whether it's eating them, shearing them, or shagging them, us Kiwis really love our sheep. I'm here at this farm and I got a call from a good mate of mine saying he's got a ram attacking people. Now I've got experience with rams and sheep and a lot of other livestock before, so we're going to see if we can reason with them. With one look, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Luckily, I brought all the right gear with me. See how calm he is now? Now you can see how calm he is. He's completely docile. He doesn't hate me at all. Completely loves me. And that goes to show you can teach an old dog new tricks. It's a sheep, not a dog. But you know, it goes to show that shit. As the sun sank behind the hills, it was time to get back on the road, and this time heading into the bush for a bit of conservation. Now this is the kiwi, a flightless bird native to New Zealand and New Zealand only. They live in the bush and are known for their very long beak. Now the best time to see kiwi is at night, but you can't often see them at night because it's a bit dark. But these guys are at risk of extinction, and part of that reason is the possum. The possum was introduced into New Zealand from Australia in 1837 to establish a fur trade and to sell their fur. Possums pose a big threat to the New Zealand ecosystem, killing native animals, native plants, and also spreading diseases. The New Zealand government spends around $110 million per year on possum control, so the least I could do was go out and try to help the government kill the 30-odd million possums that live here, in my backyard. Now there's 3 ways to get rid of possums: traps, guns, and poison. Today we're going to be using this. Oh shit, there's a kiwi right there. But before we go out, we need to learn some safety tips. Always keep the gun unloaded unless you are ready to fire. Now another one is always keep the safety on until ready to fire. Yep, we're just gonna go now. Right, so what I'm looking for is the possum's eyes. When you shine light into their eyes, the light reflects off their eyes and it reflects back to you and it kind of looks like it's glowing. So that's what I'm kind of looking out for. Oh, we might have a possum here. Did you leave the car lights on? Yeah. One thing I forgot to do was identify the target. Now that's another really important rule when handling firearms is, I got a bit excited and I didn't have enough time to make sure what I was shooting at actually was a... After a bit of conservation work, it was time to reward myself with a treat, so I headed up to a couple of lakes for a bit of fishing. Fishing is a great way to relax the body and to get a feed. It's also a great reason to get into the outdoors. Here we are at the local lake. Canterbury is covered with lakes, just like this one here. And they hold many different species of fish, especially trout. Now we're going to see if we can get ourselves one of these types of fish. Brown trout get their name from their brown colour and because they are a trout. They were first introduced into New Zealand in 1867 and since then they have thrived, New Zealand becoming one of the best trout fisheries in the world. People from all over the world come right here to catch some kiwi trout. What I've got here is a soft plastic. Now it's a little lure shaped like a fish to resemble a fish made out of a soft plastic-like material, hence its name soft plastic or soft bait. Now it's not really too hard to use one of these things. All you need to do is put the jig head, which is a weighted hook, through the body of the soft bait and tie it on and you can just flick it out. Fishing is a waiting game. People can go 24 hours without catching a fish and others only a day. It's all about patience. I guess that's why they call it fishing, not catching. What I've done here is that I've got myself a snag. I've snagged my lure into the tree and it's kind of stuck in the tree. Now it happens sometimes when you're fishing, that's what happens, but after my years of experience I know how to get my plastic out of the bush. Get out, come on. Ugh. After a successful day's fishing, it was time for one last adventure, so I headed up into the high country for a walk in the hills and to immerse myself in nature. Place of choice? Woolshed Creek. Known for its woolshed and the fact that it has a creek, Woolshed Creek doesn't have a woolshed, but it does in fact have a creek. Woolshed Creek is on the Mount Somers Track, which is a 26-kilometre walk through various huts, bush, tussock and wildlife. Woolshed Creek is a relatively easy track. The area was originally used for coal mining back in the early 1900s. It has since become a beautiful bushwalk for those eager to get into the outdoors. The Blackburn coal mine was opened in 1929 but quickly went bankrupt a year later in 1930. It was reopened and closed down multiple times before finally shutting down in 1968. Standing in front of equipment used almost 100 years ago, most of it rusted away by rain and wind, you can't stop thinking what it must have been like to be one of those miners. Exactly what I thought. Coal. Now, whenever I go out into the outdoors, especially quite a remote place like this, I always make sure to bring some safety equipment with me. Now, some of that safety equipment is one of these boys, a GPS or a global positioner, and I never go tramping without one. It's good because if you ever get into trouble, you can find out where you are and you can send for help. And getting into trouble out here can be deadly and sometimes fatal. Whenever you're in a place like this, it's important to stop for a second, take in the view and relax. Enjoy the fresh breeze and the beauty of Mother Earth's creations. Well, there you go. We've been to some cool places and we've done some amazing things. And that concludes what is hopefully the first and last instalment of the Kiwi Adventure. See you next time.